Ragnaros landing a 4-man Sulfurous Smash, Durance of Hate from Mephisto, and this combination executed perfectly at the end of the game.
From Alarak, make it a quad kill set up by that East.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi line.
Nubarak, 4 at 50%. Both cores are just absolutely melting. Which one's going to go down first? I think this is going to be Respect the Gooses. Oh my goodness.
Ring. Oh my goodness, the ring. Jaina just pulling up everybody here. That's a 4, make it 5.
And it does not fall up. What a play. Oh my God, somebody please clip that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight, I'm your host, Aero. I am joined by Mudge from Regen Phoenix. Welcome, Mudge. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm having a good night. Glad I got invited along for the ride. I'm here to watch some heroes and do a little talking about it.
Makes sense. Looking forward to this matchup here from Division D East between Team Banshee and Psistorm Gaming Purifiers. Team Banshee, I believe, a new addition to Nexus Gaming Series, and Psistorm Gaming, of course, a team that's been around for at least a couple of seasons, and a little bit of a name change there, but that's all right. We still know who they are.
It'll be interesting to see them go up against each other. I'm curious what we have in store for tonight.
So let's take a quick peek at the standings here. Our standing, Psychic, welcome. Our standings are showing Team Banshee here at 7th place with 8 points, Psistorm Gaming with 4 points. Now there is Council of Mages, you can see there, had withdrawn, so everybody from Phoenix Rising Onyx all the way up the ranks there have 3 points from that season forfeit. Looks like we've got one ready. Just need to... I don't know what Y7A means. Maybe that's already. Oh, when left is...
You got me on that one.
But anyways, yeah, so that's where we're at. So Team Banshee, I believe, overall 4-4, and Psistorm 1-6, if I remember correctly. I think that's what my stat showed at the beginning. And looks like our teams are ready. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at our map bans as we get this match ready to go here. Mudge, you want to cover that?
Yeah, so it looks like Banshee banned out Baraxis and Dragonshire, Psistorm taking out Hanamura and Tomb of the Spider Queen, which leaves open Alterac Pass as one of the outliers. Other than that, it seems like it's all the fun maps, all the ones everybody likes to play.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how these go. We do have the Battlefield of Eternity, the first map going to be picked up here by Psistorm, and we're ready to go in our draft.
All right. So I'm wondering what these bands are gonna look like. If Diva gets left open, is that going to be a snap pick, or do you prioritize race? With the Vala Hanzos seeing action here quite a bit.
Yeah, and
or if we'll go for that top lane.
Yeah, and Diva is a really strong hero. She hasn't received a nerf yet, so it wouldn't be a big surprise to see her. She can do a pretty significant amount of damage. I don't think her race is super. I think she's kind of mid-pack for solo laner race value wise. So if they're looking to go for more of a team fight, they could take somebody like the Raynor, like the Greymane, like the Vala, that would be strong in the race and then have their team kind of set up for the disruption that D.Va could bring. So we could see that, absolutely.
All right. Well, we've got the Garrosh ban, so assuming that they did get a D.Va, you would not be having any mechs thrown into the enemy team.
no mech bomb throws there, either for or against. It's just not happening. So Raynor being banned out first, he is. I think he probably still is the highest overall, at least certainly at level 1 race potential hero. And there's that D.Va.
Okay, so you've got the first pick team banning out D.Va, which I suppose means they don't have or are not comfortable playing D.Va.
Maybe. It could also just be that they just don't want to leave the option open for Psistorm to take it, because they clearly would rather have something.
They want to prioritize the race.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're likely to see most, assuming here a really strong race hero probably picked up at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mudge, your fan club is here. We got Recyclic out there.
Yeah, I see you shouting, Rec. Did I do something wrong to you? Did you not want to know?
No, I did something wrong to him. I told him there's the race hero that we were just talking about. I told him to tune into the stream, and so Recyclic has this thing with most of the members of our team for the rest of you out there who have nothing better to do than to listen to this story while we wait on the next pick. Has this thing about where he was not wanting to ever see what the people from our team look like, other than like obviously if they met at BlizzCon or something. And so I've just spoiled that for Rec.
Well, it was going to happen sooner or later. Eventually, I'll get a webcam. All right, so we've got Vala and Greymane. I mean, that's the two big racers coming right off the rip. You had to expect it.
Yeah, and Li Ming, another pretty high value race target. If we looked for pretty significant race, we could see an Artanis coming up. Johanna, not really well known for her race, but she is still pretty strong. She can blind out the Greymane to slow down the race of the enemy team. So I still want to see somebody in that solo lane to help protect the Vala. They need to have somebody that can be upfront enough to give Vala the space she needs.
Yeah. Or a high burst protection healer. But definitely Johanna being one of the safer tanks that you can have roam up, even solo, and try to just get down the race of the opposing team and have the unstoppable to get out safely should they jump on you.
Once every 25 seconds or so.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit less if you take the hold your ground talent. Cassie going to be the final ban. Of course, Lucio banned out there as well. Lucio not a super common pick or ban lately. But I mean, if you have a strong Lucio, the shield barrier that we're just talking about is a good option for the burst protection. He's got the sound wave to knock people back, so a lot of, especially there with that Diablo, can kind of knock him back, although it puts him a little bit at risk. But more importantly, Imperious.
Yeah, that's a lot of heavy dive coming out, and I can see where you don't want a Lucio pushing back your engage there.
Yeah, well, and most especially your Imperious, because your Imperious is who you want to be able to complete that stun. If they can't complete the stun, they don't get the cooldown reduction or the additional damage from that ability.
They did go with the Rhaegar healer, which is not a burst healer. Well, aside from the ultimate, there's not going to be a ton of sustain coming out. Could save one person in a pinch, but it could have also been, just a comfort pick. I do think, though, with the Vala Ming, Rhaegar, Darian, you definitely got to give the race over to Team Banshee.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, depending on what flavor of variant we get. I feel like this should be a taunt variant. Because you need to have that peel potential for Vala. And right now they just don't have it, really, in any way. I guess you could have, like, a totem that would help. But that's not going to be super great, right? But they could just say, all right, you want to come into us, we're going to let you, and then we're just going to Control-Alt-Delete you with a C-Smash. Could happen.
That could be the case. Could be the case. With Imperius, Greymane, Diablo all probably going to be piling on to one person, Johanna's going to have at least some big punish potential, I would imagine. With her actual ability to punish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So. Yeah. The level 7 subdue into that could be really strong. Tassadar being really their only far back line is going to be looking to, poke out the damage onto Johanna, potentially Varian. But what Tassadar brings to this is Force Wall. And the separation of each of the teams to make sure that Diablo can get those Shadow charges and Purifiers can get those Celestial charges, and they can lock down the team.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get our teams introduced.
Who are you taking?
You know what? I'll take Team Banshee on the left. You can take Psistorm on the right there. We're going to start off here on the left. We've got MBB424 playing the Johanna. We got Zagi on the Rhaegar, Death Omen on the Vala, Lunatics playing the Varian, and Jaren there on the Li Ming.
All right, over for Psistorm, we've got Toxic on the Imperius in the solo lane, Pizza on the Diablo, Xeno Ender on the Greymane, Cyan on the Tassadar, and Silver Wasp on Deckard.
Alrighty, so checking out these early talents here. So we are going to have the Shockray stacking talent there for Cyan on the Tassadar. Over time, that certainly becomes quite a bit of damage, and especially once you get to that level 16, getting the additional 8% damage, that'll be huge. But Diablo's going to get that flip onto Johanna. She just doesn't care and walks right into the enemy team.
No. Yep. Well, you've got that D key up. You can do that.
And that D key is not up for this one, so Gladiator Medallion's going to be used to keep Johanna alive there. And I think that was a pretty important use of that medallion. It's still early, so that death wouldn't have been too bad in the XP, but it would have certainly given them a lot of flexibility for, like, getting the camp or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Sets a tone as well.
Right. Asserting dominance. It's important.
We do have High King's Quest coming out for Varian in the top lane, and until he hits 4, this is going to be rough for him, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was looking a little grim there for a moment. Imperius certainly far up into the face of Varian. But like you said, until that 4 comes online and he can either get the additional damage or the health and lockdown. Diablo getting a charge into the middle of the lane. Yeah.
Wasn't quite able to queue up the flip, I think, the way he wanted to, but didn't cost him much. He's got plenty of Deckard heals.
Yeah, it's real great when you can use that shadow charge, get a stun against a wall, get a flip, but also on the way pick up a potion. So chat did vote here between the two teams, and it was split. I didn't mention the vote. I apologize for anybody that missed it. It was split 50-50 for those of you who were paying attention. We'll make sure to call that out for the next game.
All right, we got 2 members of Psistorm going off, doing their camp now. They're a little ahead, just a bit.
Well, and it looks like we've got 3 coming over here for Banshee. They do have a very low health and mana Rhaegar, so Rhaegar's going to head on back. Was probably going to do that either way to fill up as the Immortals coming up here. Psistorm's holding on to their camp for a little bit longer by leaving just the Greymane here, but even Greymane pulling off is actually going to Hearth and then pick it up on his way back.
Looks like there's some communication. He's going to go ahead and grab it. They did time it better. I mean, letting it come out later like that, it's going to already be cleared Banshee's push, so you will have lane pressure until that kill happens. Once that picks off, now all bets are off.
Yeah, and it is Varian
So we're
going
right on to
into
the Baron.
Twin Blades, so I really expect us to see a Bloodlust here. I don't think we're going to see the Ancestral.
Yep.
Their peel potential
That
for the
does
Vol
give
is a
them
little...
even more race, too.
It definitely does. The peel potential is a little bit less, but if they can burn through heroes or immortals, then whatever.
Big stun coming out from Diablo onto the Valo there. Death Omen getting down to about 1/3 health. Diablo deep trying to find her, but she's going to be able to get away. Good peels from the totem, preventing her death there.
Yeah, and keep in mind they do have the Li Ming, so they can drop bombs pretty far, but the Celestial Charge is going to hit the Rhaegar. Johanna's going to get stunned by the Immortal, then by Diablo. Pops the Iron Skin to try to pull back. Condemn pulling both the front lines back.
On the Greymane.
Yeah, and Tassadar and Greymane going to look to see if they can't finish the race. All the while, that Shaman camp did get taken out at the top lane.
Varian very low here, getting picked by Diablo, but the Ming poke is just coming in, and I don't think that, yeah. They got some good damage on it, considering how far behind they were going into halftime, but it's going to go over to Team Banshee. We'll see what they do with this first objective.
Yeah, the first Immortal is usually not super strong. It really depends on what your team can do with it, how much value you've got in, say, a Sylvanas or other heroes like a Nubrak. But Diablo going really deep is going to find himself an early death in this, and that actually gives that Immortal now a lot more value. It's a lot harder for Psistorm to push against it.
Sure does. Diablo just going a little too far out there with half HP, and the rest of the team was not there to back him up.
Sometimes that happens.
Sure does. It sure does.
A couple of tank players here have
Well, they get the wall.
all kinds of experience in that. So both teams have level 7, and yeah, so I mean they got the wall, which is probably about the best that Psistorm could have really hoped for. Having the Greymane, having the Tassadar, both, you know, be able to attack from range is pretty helpful when you're dealing with that Immortal who's on the other side of a wall.
It is. Now they see Greymane in top, so it looks like they're going to go for this bottom camp. I'd like to see, yep, there's the engage. So this is a 3v4. And they're going to give it up. I think they had to.
Yeah, when your only real damage in that group is Tassadar, you throw out a W and a Q and then you wait, so maybe less so now. Diablo having to pull back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did get
swapped out the
Greymane.
Greymane. Perhaps they think that's a better matchup up top, or maybe just gives them more kill pressure down below. Trying to engage on the Johanna, but when she has that D key up, there's just nothing doing.
There aren't a lot of ways to interrupt Imperious's spear, his Celestial Charge.
It's true.
Really, it's just Johanna until Rain of Vengeance comes online. And potentially Wave of Force. So right now, having Imperius down here in the bot lane, if he can combo those stuns with Diablo, with that level 1, what is this, Burn the Imperial? Yeah, 2.5% for each stack. He can do an absolute ton of damage, no matter who he connects onto, but he has to be able to connect. Rotation up onto Varian. Varian is trying to take
for the gank on the Varian here. Down 10s. He is completely by himself. Just positioned too aggressively, hoping to clear that camp. He's low, and yeah, he's not getting out of there. But they're going to go ahead. Banshee's already got it to halftime. So they can split between defense and offense here, or they can go all in and try to go straight into the defense with a pick. It looks like they're going for the D. Banshee does need to clear top, but there's ultimates coming out. Big sleep. Greymane very low, getting beat down by Johanna. Manages to get out. Deckard's low as well. Ooh, but the delete onto Rhaegar coming out of Toxic's ultimate. Greymane going back in with very low health. Diablo there to back him up. got a very low Vala. She's going to go down as well, but Varian's into the fight now. He showed up. Ming kind of by herself over here. Diablo wants her. Doesn't have any backup.
I know what that
Good
moment is
exchange.
like when when you're as the tank. You're like, I got this last person. Let me get her. And you're like, team, hello, team, you there? So
Good
Team
root.
Banshee
Big
coming
hit from
back
Varian.
in. Yeah, they're coming back
Yep.
in onto the offense on this one here. Down a hero or so, but Imperius is gonna get the stun, and Cyan there finishing the job. Acidar with that big shock ray.
Ooh, big stun on the Ming. Gets the heal from Rhaegar. Blinks out. She's going to be safe. But the rest of her team also getting pretty low here. Cyan on Tassadar, very low, out of mana. Deckard completely out of mana. Greymane burning away, though, and he's going to be able to pick it up.
And another spear this time onto Johanna, but Imperius has no mana left.
Yeah,
And really, I
no
mean,
mana and no backup.
Silver Wasp had no mana. This was pretty much just on E for almost every hero. Li Ming had almost no mana as well, but she has that level 1 force armor. So of anybody on the map right now, she has the capability to stay in that fight for a little bit longer.
Now we'll see how much actual value they get out of this thing. There's a ton of ranged burn on the side of Banshee as well, so with the gate still being up, they're going to have to make something out of it quick if they're going to.
I don't think they get a whole
Might
lot.
just
They're probably
try.
just going to get this well and call it good, because the it took too long with
Diablo
having to
going
back
in.
out.
Eating a lot of stuns. There's the black hole coming out. They tried to save him, but it's just not enough. It's just a bit too deep.
It is probably for the best that they only lost Diablo there. He has his soul, so he's back already. But with that Bloodlust being popped, and you've got the Vala who can do just crazy amounts of damage with that Bloodlust, and then the movement speed allowing Li Ming to better position herself for those bombs and missiles. It's very possible that we could have
Rotating
seen,
on the Imperius.
yeah, we could have seen somebody else fall there, but that stay a while really clutch to put the brakes on.
Imperius surviving. It was really just a rotation up to the camp, but hey, if you can pick up a kill, all the better.
Well, and here comes
It's like
Psistorm now.
perhaps these squishies might get caught. Oh. We have a pause.
Hey. Need a little water for 1 second.
All right. Experience is just about even here. 13s will be coming online for Psistorm any second, and someone having some mouse problems.
This is the second time this
But,
week that I've had a game where somebody halfway through had to go get a new mouse, literally, because their mouse just died.
And that is why you use corded attachments.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna show this the other day, but let me show you. I'm gonna show on stream the mouse that I use. This is the mouse that I use for gaming. It's gonna horrify some people, I'm sure.
Yeah, man, I don't understand how you use that. I really don't.
This is how it looks when I play. Basically, it just, you know, in the claw, so to speak. So it looks like
Really comes out
maybe
here.
one team's ready. I mean, the other team didn't say they're ready, but we're going anyway, so whatevs.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Now they said, oh, sorry. I mean, are they... Yeah, there they go.
Are they? They're only okay. There they go.
I was going to say, it's just the one team talking.
And
Push the pause button,
And-
guys.
maybe
There we go. Okay, go back
we're
to
in
the
it.
game.
All right. All right. Okay, so Rhaegar kind of caught out by this rotation by Psistorm, but Totem peeling for him. I mean, they're invading this camp. There's very aggressive positioning by Psistorm, and Banshee can't really do anything about it with half their team split on the other camp. That being said, the camp Banshee is taking is much more impactful.
Yeah, but there's still 10 seconds. So, I mean, in theory, if they come up and try to clear the top camp, then that gives Psistorm Gaming the opportunity to send out this camp, which they're doing now. They could easily clear the bottom camp. Yep. Although, we didn't mention it earlier, but in that fight over the Immortal earlier, Team Banshee was able to get that bottom fort. So, that is a very important pickup for them.
Gosh, race is close. It is so close. Wow. Okay.
2,400 difference, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, edged out, defensively postured Immortals now.
Yeah, and both teams looking.
And, I mean, they can't go for the race. Kind of. They have to. Wow. They rotated down to clear camp, and that's going to cost them objectives. They have tons of pressure in top.
Yeah, they just got that top fort because of it. So they have to really defend this strongly in order to make sure that they don't lose more than they gain from that.
Psistorm in a position where they can fight past the Immortal because Banshee has nothing to fall back to.
It's not going to help if they all get stunned by the Immortal.
Yeah. I think they were all watching for them to come in.
Yeah, so keep in mind, last time Diablo was a little far forward. Does pop the Apocalypse, only gets on the Ming.
Tap came out for Greymane. They've got this thing down to half health. Imperious low getting poked hard by the Ming. Everybody healthy on the side of Banshee. Looks like they're going to have to give it for it, yeah.
Ooh, Imperious very low from that stun. Here comes the
Imperious.
Bloodlust.
Yep, Bloodlust. Good try by the Deckard. He might be a little caught out now. A little bit of counter engage on the Rhaegar. Wall almost catches him, but that travel form just getting him out of there. A couple people low on both sides, going to get some recalls.
Just enough of that movement speed going into his wolf form that he was able to get around that force wall. If it was any other hero, they would have been dead.
Yep.
Maybe not any other hero, but most heroes. I imagine Genji would have been just fine. So we do have Diablo going into the full flame stomp here, and he's coming in, looking for a fight.
Not quite getting there on time. It is a 3v4, so it's a bit aggressive, but they have the Imperious coming in now.
It's that same 3v4 they had the last time they were in the bot lane, fighting over that. Tassa are 1 Q away from finishing his quest there.
That will be a huge damage bomb.
Oh, it doesn't do anything when he gets to the 200.
No,
it's just 5 more. It's just done.
Okay.
So it literally just means 5 more damage, but, you know, it's cool to have it.
Get the nice graphic on screen. All right, they're rotating up onto this Greymane. He's getting out, though.
Yeah, it was a good call. You could tell that somebody was aware to remind him to get out of dodge.
Yeah. They should be able to catch 16 in time for this Immortal. You've got the aggressive positioning from Diablo, probably hoping to catch somebody here. Imperious not quite there. Onto the Rhaegar, that's who he needed to go after. Let's see Bloodlust pop just to get himself out. APOC landing, but the deletion on Greymane from the Ming, she's just popping off.
Orbs for days, getting a triple kill so far. They're looking to see if they can't catch the Tassadar, but they just don't have that movement speed. Imperious made it out as well, and it looked like a really strong start to that engage. The Diablo and the Rhaegar, the Black Hole coming in, catching the Johanna since she didn't check that bush. But it turns out that when you've got, again, Vala plus long-range Li Ming orbs and Varian who have Bloodlust, they just shred heroes.
Yeah, and once again, Rhaegar being able to use his travel form to get out there. If you're any other normal support, you don't make it out of that quite so easily. You probably get comboed by the APOC and you probably go down, making it at least a trade.
So both teams are going to pick up their Shaman camps here. The Shaman camp for Psistorm is, I mean, it's just going to get cleared on the way. So it's a minor speed bump to be taken care of here. But they do have to defend bot lane because the Shaman camp that Banshee picked up is causing pressure there. Banshee has a 2.5, well, I guess not 2.5, a 2-level lead at this point. So they're closer to level 20, but everybody's on the same talent tier.
Right. That's important for now. Varian getting poked down very hard there. Getting caught by the Deckard root. Getting some damage thrown onto him.
Did get pulled back by the black hole as well. This Immortal still has a pretty decent shield as Toxic using his ultimate to try to bring that down a little bit.
Yeah. Science landing very good poke onto on the Banshee. Oh, Imperius almost made it out there. APOC doesn't quite catch the Rhaegar. Is he going to go down? They catch him that time.
Yeah, but the reset's coming in from Ming. Diablo will be back because he did get enough souls there, but he's going to be baby Diablo. The Immortal may actually get a little bit of damage onto this core because, yeah, it's going to get some. Oh, and Tassadar having to stand there and channel that auto attack. 69% on the core. How much is
Still,
that?
game's not over, so you got to consider it a successful defense.
Yeah, so 14k. I think that if Banshee had tried to continue pushing with the Li Ming and Lavala and Johanna, I think it would have been a coin flip as to whether or not they would have succeeded. And a coin flip is not what you want to have when you're now level 20 and you're ahead in the game. You've got your front fort available still, bottom left. And, you know, for the most part, you've been ahead throughout this game. So you don't want to, you know, a 50-50, it's just not enough. Just aren't good odds for you. But with that level 20, they're looking for this fight. They want to rotate underneath.
Yeah,
and here
it's
comes
a good
Johanna.
Rotation. Ooh, nice dodge out from the Imperius. Okay. All right, so all you get punished with is Ming Orb, and you know, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
So we do have the Indestructible for Johanna, so I think that's a really good pickup for her because there have been several times that she's been really close to death in some of these fights, and having that extra, you know, get out of jail free card is going to be really helpful, especially as Psistorm's getting closer to level 20 here.
Mm-hmm. And Banshee's just setting up for the race, which I don't blame him for. I mean, you could try and force a fight before 20 because it's right there. Psistorm's only real option is to hope to get 20 and then defend at halftime and get a big defense, a decisive team fight. They trickle it in. All right, now they've got to coalesce here.
So it is going to be Kala's gift there for Tassadar, so the additional spell power.
Unfortunate placement. Ooh, nice flip in onto the Ming by Pizza there, and they get her with the go for the throw big. Oh my gosh, can they complete it all? It's gonna be 2 picks. All right, they've got to leave some people to defend. They want to take the camp.
That was a fantastic play
great
by
black
Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
The black hole was great as well, but that all began and ended with the fact that Diablo got a Hellgate plus the Apocalypse and just absolutely destroyed that Li Ming. And without Li Ming, it's very difficult for Banshee to really push in. They've got the Vala, but that's just not enough into this. Big damage coming out from her, though.
Yep. They've got to fall back. You've got Tassadar coming back in to back them up. They're trying to get the kill on Pizza. The damage needs to come out on the Vala. She's burning this Immortal. Cyan's trying to back her off. Does do it. Greymane's still burning away. They're about halfway down on theirs.
And it turns out Psistorm was able to pick up bottom fort there.
Yep. Got the camp. Get it down. Pizza's back up to about full health, trying to engage again onto Johanna. Vala getting a little bit of poke in from the bottom, but Li Ming's back up now.
And this next fight could very well define the game.
Around. They know the 5v5's coming. It could. It does.
Well, shield just missed.
Varian in. Varian very separated, but Greymane, all the D. Oh, and all the damage.
Yep. Greymane, Tassadar both destroyed. Pizza getting pulled out there, gets the flip, but Deckard and Diablo both following there. And with a full team wipe and catapults on the core, it looks like Team Banshee's going to make their way over and successfully end out game 1.
Yep. It was a valiant attempt. It was a valiant attempt by Psistorm there. They just got too separated in that final team fight. You know, it's a tough place to fight because you have no room to really work with that spawn being right by their base. And you can easily get split around that bruiser camp, which is what happened. And Psistorm's damage was just on the south side, nowhere near their tanks and bruiser. Deckard was 1v1ing Varian on top of Immortal, and you want to say just play back on the Immortal where you have the advantage, where you can kind of collect the team fight. But if you do that, Ming is able to just poke you down. So rough, but a good try.
Yeah, and especially with those long-range arcane orbs, you know, taking that level 16 talent there, the arcane orbit, you get even more distance, 25% farther. The damage increases as well, so you're hitting with the glass cannon, and well, I guess you got Force Armor, so no power hungry. But and Tal Rashas. So if you are adding all of those factors in, those bombs are doing 1,600 damage to everybody in the area, and that's Diablo and Imperius for sure if you throw them that way. Greymane has all of 4,000 or so health, so one ore brings him to half. Any other damage coming from anybody, and he's toast. And we saw he went down very quickly, and with the Tassadar nearby as well, Tassadar doesn't have a lot of health, so it was a great engage and fight from Psistorm right before that, and it was fantastic of Team Banshee to play in such a way that they kept Psistorm engaged. They couldn't go back to their core. Even if they hadn't died there was a very real possibility that those catapults end the game, because there were 3 of them sitting there, and they cleared the shield before Banshee even got there.
Yeah, the core was going to take a lot of damage there, regardless of how that goes. I think even if you do manage to win the Immortal there, Psistorm probably can't end. I mean, they've got to send at least one back to defend. And then, that puts you in a 4v5 situation, assuming you don't get a pick. So, and I see in chat, they're saying maybe Greymane should have tried to finish the Immortal. And that's an option. But, you know that there's going to be another 5v5 because everybody from Team Banshee just rezzed. So if you leave your Greymane back there, but then you lose the fight, it doesn't do you any good anyway, because they can just ignore Immortal and walk right through your top lane. So pulling the Greymane, I think, was a call that you had to make.
Yeah, you had to get another one of those engages that they just had, but of course they had to use some very long cooldowns to get that. That Hellgate, the surprise Hellgate over the wall. It's what, a 3-minute cooldown, I think?
Yeah, I mean, a brilliant move, but it's 90 seconds, I believe. Actually.
100. I just pulled it up. It's 100. I thought it was a lot longer. I guess that's 3 minutes is like the Malthael death timer.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the selection of who was that? Psistorm. That was their pick. So, and it's going to be their choice now as to whether they want to go with a map pick or first pick. Just pulling up here the history, I think. Yeah, okay, so Team Banshee originally had the option, and they went for first pick. So we don't know what Psistorm's ultimately going to pick here, what direction they went.
Okay. Yeah, be interesting to find out.
Let me try messaging Ender here.
Well, they just played on a heavy team fight map, so maybe now they want to take it macro. See how they fare.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the maps that are still available, and we can talk a little bit about that. So, yeah. BOA obviously out there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of the maps that are left are pretty macro-heavy maps. I mean, really all of them.
Yeah, you can't really ignore any of it. I mean, probably the heaviest team fight one left would be Volskaya, but it's
That's-
not as if that doesn't have its rotations.
I mean, maybe towers, depending. Like towers kind of forces you to fight pretty frequently because of the consistent objectives. There are more objectives than Volskaya, but you're right. I mean, there's a lot of dead time in Volskaya, which lends itself to finding somebody and trying to get a kill. Let's see. So, all right. It's going to be map pick going over Team Banshee as Psistorm went for first pick. And it turns out it's going to be, drum roll please, Alterac
I have my
pass.
drum kit near me. All right, Alterac. Something you don't see very often. I mean, it's starting to get normal. It's starting to get normal, but Alterac pass still feels strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's we don't play it often. And I think that's probably why. Let's see. This is Team Banshee versus Psistorm. You can join off me.
All right, jump on in there.
Got some friends in chat. Red is out there shouting you out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Got Tuna
Appreciate it, Red.
and Boundrix. While we have a second here, I'm gonna make a formal complaint. This is a shout out to Blizzard. Blizzard, for your really high level accounts, would you please let us have a different color than green forever? Forever.
Aero, they already know they have you hook, line, and sinker, man. I mean, they don't need to listen to you.
Actually, you know what? I wonder. Actually, see, now I need to see somebody else that's up this high, because it actually. So it does have a green border, but there's a little bit of a blue kind of highlight on the inside. So I wonder if that's actually, if the green border's an overlay once you get to a certain level. That might be what happened.
You know, I actually think you're right. I think you're right.
I just have, I've played this game so much that I have the super amazing, awesome border of coolness.
Is that its official title?
I think it is. I think it's official.
Okay.
All right, we're just waiting on 2 players from Team Banshee here. And we can get this Alterac pass going. Of course, World of Warcraft, Shadowlands, the next expansion coming soon, TM. I believe this is the first time since Warcraft was launched that they've pushed back an expansion.
Like an actual release date?
Yep.
Because I know some of the expansions took, what, 2 years to come out or so? Or more?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely have been times where, like, what's it called? Icecrown Citadel was literally 1 year to the day. The Siege of Orgrimmar was about that. So, I mean, they've definitely had periods of time that were really long for their final content patch. But in this case, they're pushing back the actual. They set a date and they're pushing it back. And that's not to say that they haven't had long times, because of course we just discussed that. But they've never set a date and pushed it back, which is what they've done now.
Well, as a guy who was all hyped up about, Classic, played that for a bit, and then realized that this was too much of a time sink, you have fun with that Shadowlands.
Well, and you know what? Today's Monday. Normally I would be rating. But because it's the end of the content, here we are. All right, both of the teams are ready. Let's get this started. All right, so coming into our draft on Alterac Pass, last time we had the Raynor Diva On the left, we had Garrosh and Jaina banned out on the right. I mean, we could still see some of those. I think D.Va is a really strong option here for a variety of reasons. I think
Absolutely.
that, I think Raynor is still a really strong option as well. I think Garrosh loses a little bit. It's hard to really find sneaky ways to get people with Garrosh, so you kind of have to support him in that. So
it's
maybe
a really
we don't see
large
that.
map.
It's a large map.
It's a really
that-
large map.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bushes that are in convenient locations.
Not a lot of rotations to be made. You pretty much just stick some people in a lane and wait until objective comes up, aside from going and snagging your camp here and there.
So D.Va is the first ban. This time banned out by the other first ban team.
Well, seems like maybe D.Va's a moot point in this matchup.
It is a little
All right,
strange
they don't.
seeing the D.Va
They got
banned
the
out.
respect Deckard ban.
I like that a lot, though. Deckard on this map, even, in a lot of ways, even more so than BOE. You're going to be, if you're going to be fighting, it's going to be oftentimes over these kind of small controlled areas. And Deckard with his potions, either ultimate could work really solidly here. Almost always going to land those cubes and roots. So I think that's a fantastic ban to begin with. And with the play that we saw from Psistorm last game, I think that's a really solid ban.
They did end up banning the Garrosh.
I mean, sometimes it's
We
just the
will
right
see.
call either way.
Yeah. Well, and they played a very melee-heavy team beforehand, so it makes sense if they want to do something similar. You don't want a Garrosh in there. All right, I like it. I like stealing the Ming away. They banned your Tassadar, take the Ming.
Yeah, and it doesn't
But,
really
you
give
don't want-
anything away about your draft.
Right, right. You know you're going to have some good, solid poke. That's about it.
All right, so
Let's see.
Banshee coming in with the Zool and Lucio. So we did see Lucio banned out last game, so they recognized that they need to pick that up earlier if they want to get it. And Zool is an interesting pick here. He's probably not going to be going like a double soak option here, but he can push down a lane really, really hard. And if he's able to come in with the cavalry, that's a really strong push.
The wait is over.
I'd imagine he clears the null camp in no time flat. And there's the Cassia, which got banned last game.
Everybody's over here stealing heroes and picking up early heroes that got banned. They don't want that happening. I think that we actually had a swap in here. Well, Daggy coming in for somebody. Garen, Death Omen, Biggs. Jaren? No. Oh, I have Jaren twice. That's fine. Never mind.
Right Wing being the final ban, coming out of Team Banshee. Which,
I like that.
it's a good map for it. It's a good map for
Yeah.
Right Wing.
I mean, the bosses aren't super crazy, but Emerald Wind can provide you a little bit of boss control. But I think that the biggest aspect there is that Brightwing would really screw up the Zool if they're trying to go like an auto attack cleave build here. Like you mentioned, they had a lot of melee the last game, so Zool, in that circumstance could have done okay-ish. Diablo kind of screws him up, but there are a lot of blinds on the side here of Psistorm with Johanna and Cassia, so I don't think we're going to see an auto attack cleave build. Instead, I think we might see something, Brightwing does a lot of work onto heroes that want to get into the backline. May might do that a little bit, but I think we might see something else.
Okay, you've got some. I don't know, just sort of. It looks like a team that's rather self-reliant. Like the Mei takes care of herself. Zool's got his own shield. Chromie's going to be so far back, she won't be threatened. Lucio can sort of just AoE pick him up. It looks like a real sustainy team fight comp. Chin. And Stukov.
So I'm kind of
Always
thinking.
like to see Stukov.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering if it's not like if they might not be looking at something like a Zeratul. Because Zeratul could soak a lane pretty decently, and Alterac Pass does often get into the much later game, which is where Zeratul shines. And with the right build and timing, he could take out a Li Ming pretty easily. But it's actually Zul'jin, completely opposite of Zeratul.
Yeah. They've gone for that very sustainy team fight. I mean, they did take Zul and Zul'jin into Johanna Cassius, so that is a lot of blinds. But it just looks like they want to drag these fights out.
Yeah, for sure. And Li Ming into this team here, so you know, you mentioned all the self-sustain potential. Lucio can kind of help keep everybody up, so I mean that's going to be really helpful for them. I don't really know which side I give the advantage to, but let me set up the poll here, so in just a moment you guys will see that.
Now, you've got some pick potential with Stukov silences, you know, but you don't really have a whole lot of lockdown. I mean, unless Stukov is landing his own silence route, I mean, there's almost no CC on the side of Psistorm. You've got Johanna. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you could see like a Valkyrie, maybe Storm Earth and Fire has a route as well, so you could see some of that. So, but let's get our teams introduced. Why don't you start, Mudge?
All right, so over for Psistorm, we've got Pizza on Johanna, Xeno Ender on the Cassia, Silver Wasp playing the Stukov, Cyan on the Li Ming, and Toxic on Chin.
All right, and over to the left we have Team Banshee. It's going to be Lunatics there on the Zul. We got Jaren on... Is Jaren on Chromie? Yeah. We got Death Omen on the Zul'jin, Zaggy on the Lucio, and MBB 424 on the Mei. And right out of the gate...
And Deep Breathing.
Yeah, Deep Breathing there. She's already got 2 stacks of that. Headhunter is going to be really... I think that's going to be a tough one to complete when you've got a Chen and a Johanna. So it's going to be, you know, again, a later game scenario. May kind of in danger there with that silence underneath her. Couldn't use her cryo freeze, but instead just walks away.
Well, they got the better of the exchange in the early game there. Zul already pushing a wave straight into port. And now you've got 4 people rotating down to Chin on the side of Team Banshee. Looks like Zul is going to try and do a double soak. I'd like to see them try to catch him on the rotation, knowing what he's up to.
Yeah, and that's... I mean, that's much harder to do early game for Zul, because he doesn't have the cooldown reduction on his cleave, or even like Jailers, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We've got 1 vote in chat, and it's for Psistorm Gaming. So
right.
There you go, 100% says
You got to root for Chin when you see him.
There you go. There you go. All right, so both
teams already on their null camps. Reading your mind over here.
I was gonna say this is like the 4th or 5th time we've started to say almost the exact same words at the exact same time.
Hey man, what can you do? It's not like we're practiced, or I'm not.
Well, Zul's sitting in the bush here waiting for Cassia, but I was gonna say I think they know that he's there, and they do have the full rotation here.
Yeah.
He has to know that Johanna's there. Yeah. Zul'jin.
I mean, it's kind of interesting what's going on here, because both 4-mans are just kind of lining up against the solo laners on both sides.
So level 4s are here. It is going to be the cleave build for Zul. And, man, I think that's going to be really tough for Zul. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I mean, unless Zul is just going to ignore team fights, then it works out really well for him. But I think that into the Cassia, into the Johanna, I think it's going to be tough. for Zool to make value out of that.
But you are seeing the difference in XP. I mean, not by a ton, but Psistorm is back about half a level or so, but they might catch the Zool here.
When he does use his shield, gets it before the silence.
Comes out. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's just not enough CC to really lock anybody down.
Yeah, if Johanna was 10 there, then I think they can get that kill with her Blessed Shield, but yeah, I mean, when Zool can literally just walk away with no disengage at all whatsoever, that doesn't bode well for your team later. And we're gonna see,
Well,
yeah, I mean, Zool's heading right back up.
To stand and fight, it might be okay. But it does allow him to overextend with impunity.
It does, and that's the thing is that if they allow him to do that, and this is a little bit harder now for Zool, the body blocks do really well.
The body blocks were there.
Yeah.
Yep. Ooh, but the counter kill onto Johanna. She took a lot of tower damage. I think the big difference there is that Stukov actually landed the pustule that time,
right?
And it provided a big slow, allowed them to get around on him.
Yeah, and then you had two beefy bodies there. Unfortunately, you lost one of them in the exchange, but it did allow them to at least, you know, net the kill this time. And really, killing out Zool is going to be really helpful because anytime he's not on the map, he can't be pushing. And that's, I think, all he wants to do. I don't even think he wants to really be engaged in the team fights for the most part. I think he just wants to be in the lane and pushing the lanes. So I won't be surprised if Zool just heads down to bottom and lets the team kind of poke out the prison camp. Zool says, "F you, Aero, I'm not doing that."
He's gonna clear him some top. I mean, Psistorm put out some solid damage on mid gate there. They got a tower most of the gate down. We've got an engage in the top. This is a 5v5. Big engage on the Zul'jin. He's turning around now. May's about 1/3 health. Cassia kind of taking a lot of damage here, trying to walk her way out of it. She's going to get rooted. Johanna with a big re-engage. May about half health, getting poked by Li Ming a little bit further. I think a big heal coming out from Lucio now. Everybody's going to walk away pretty much full except for May.
Yeah,
she's got a tap, though.
She still has her cryo freeze as well. She didn't use that in that engage. It's a 40-second cooldown, so I mean, if she'd used it at the beginning, it would already be up, but she didn't really need to. But Chen heading back to get started on the siege camp for Psistorm Gaming here.
Looks like the call came out to Banshee to do the same. They're afraid on Psistorm's side of somebody coming up and getting after him in the top lane since they're split.
I think they were actually pinging the time trap, which was just replaced by Chromie because it was right in that general vicinity.
Now, last time they capped this, they put 5 people mid and tried to push with it. It looks like they're going to try, and they got to catch that soak top.
And they're a little scared. Most of the team is a little scared about the positioning, you know, walking around behind. I'm not sure if maybe they hadn't seen Team Banshee there yet, but I mean, it's still a good habit to be in, not to just walk through the danger zone.
Yeah, the problem now is that you are behind on the way to 10. But here comes the engage. They're looking for it before 10 pops. They don't have the Cassia, though. Still, I mean, it was a great flank by Pizza. They, you know, got a nice condemn. Got some more poke out on the May. 10s are here. And here comes the engage on the Pizza. Popping her unstoppable a little early. Doesn't have the D key, having just used it. Big heal from Stukov, and Pizza's going to make it out. And 10 picked up in mid by Psistorm.
Yeah, so Johanna going into Laws of Hope, so she doesn't have the cooldown reduction on her Iron Skin. And then also into the movement speed at level 4 here, Conviction, which actually probably just saved her. It's not a super common pick, but getting that 25% movement speed bonus is likely what just kept her alive in that top 4 area.
Mm-hmm. Deep breathing just completed for Chromie.
Yeah, that's huge. Cooldown reduction, mana cost reduction is really strong for Chromie's largest damage ability, especially with the fact that it, at level, I guess, 5, gives her a bonus damage if you're in the center, and then also the big slow. But neither team really even looking at the prison camps yet.
Yeah, both are dancing around each other quite a bit. Maybe they're both anxious to get to the late game. But unfortunately, even though no one's been bot lane at all, minions won the hell out of it for Banshee, and you've got a whole wall down on Psistorm from no impact for either team.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, if you ever, Mudge and I did this not too long ago. If you ever just go into a custom game and just let the minions go, like, it's really strange how the RNG will favor one side or the other in certain lanes. And I think that's exactly what happened, is that it just created that opening in the bot lane to be able to take that tower. But we're getting a rotation down into the boss.
Yeah, they said, all right, we're sick of this. We're going to make something happen. And I mean, I guess Team Banshee's like, well, we'll take objective. Where they're probably wondering where they are. They haven't sniffed either boss yet. They could be in either direction. Chen might have just shown. Yeah, I think he did.
Well, I mean, I think overall here, this is a net positive for Team Banshee, because this pushes in all 3 lanes this objective. It'll help to clear out that boss, and Psistorm kind of just saying, let's push with it.
Hey, if you're gonna do it, go all in with it. I like it. They didn't pull top boss. They were behind on that. They should have had somebody up there and give it a tag. Perhaps they could clear it before objective got there. Right now we're trading forts.
Yeah, and it looks like they may continue going toward a keep.
Yeah.
And I think both teams do this. Zool's going to help them push this down just as quickly without having the boss as Psistorm's going to have with the boss, I think.
Fair enough, but you've got the full recall coming out. So, looks like maybe keep wall is going to go ahead and go down. Zool absolutely going ham in that top lane. Now he's recalling.
Yeah, seeing the significant number of heroes in the mid, he knows that somebody's going to be heading his way. It's Cassia there. The cavalry there is going to take out the well here. Probably not going to get too much damage onto the keep. They'll get a little bit. And ultimately that nets out, again, I mean, about even between these two teams. So that's, in a way, that's kind of a win for Psistorm. I mean, they were able to make that even instead of a win or a loss for either team. But there's Blessed Shield coming in. Johanna looking for the condemn and subdue there.
Taking a lot of damage. Stukov getting zoned out. Chen trying to find somebody with his barrel. But looks like another just push away. You know, I was kind of banging on the CC of Psistorm, but there's not a ton of CC on the side of well, at least not hard CC on the side of Banshee either.
Yeah, that Stukov's real slow though.
He needs to stand up there, try to help him out. They're still after him. He's gonna be able to get away.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the
peel with the wave of force there.
Yeah, you've got a couple of different ways to root in Zul'jin's and Snare and Zul's root. You've got the slowing sands from Chromie. Lucio did not take the stun. He took slip, which kind of makes sense there. And then you've got whatever Mei can provide. So, I mean, there's a lot of little bits of stun and kind of some, roots, but no real solid hardcore stuns.
Yeah.
Icarium says, I've been watching two teams clear mid-top for 5 minutes.
He's not wrong about that.
Well, our next objective is coming up, so we'll have to see if this one becomes a fight. Recklessness here for Zul'jin, only 1 stack so far. kind of a testament to the minimal team fighting we've had in this game so far. I actually want to see, what does our damage look like? Yeah, our top hero damage right now in the game is Li Ming with 15k, Chromie with 14.5. That's pretty low considering we're just about to level 16s.
Well, I mean, if your goal with Psistorm was to prevent Zul'jin from stacking his innate quest, you've done it. He's got 5 stacks right now. Unstoppable coming out from Stukov to get himself out there. Nice disengage from Chen since Lucio popped his ult. Mei is way back, but no one's focusing him except for Pizza.
Toxic there on the Chen, getting all kinds of CCs, had the Zul root, had the ensnare, had the slowing sands, but that stagger doing a lot of work, allowing him ultimately to be able to make it out safely.
Yeah, MBB was way too deep there, but he was sort of on the opposite side of some terrain from the damage on the side of Psistorm. If the damage had come out on him while Johanna was pinging, I think maybe you get a kill on Mei. Of course, trait was still up, so.
Yeah, the big difference, while she does get the unstoppable, the big difference with Mei's trait is that she's immobile, unlike Johanna's. She gets, of course, the big heal and potentially spell armor. Yeah, she took spell armor before, so it's a little bit more difficult for Li Ming to just pop that off.
Psistorm's got to make something happen here or go clear top. They're going to lose that keep.
Yeah, that is a pretty significant
lose
wave.
it,
Well, I mean, they may very well. They've got a second wave coming in here, so...
Looks like Cassia wants to go clear it, but Pizza's in deep. Poke coming out. I mean, you do have the Ming. You can poke that objective all day long as Johanna's providing you vision. But Zul'jin finding the Ming out. Lucio going in. Ooh.
Yeah, that ensnare was
net
really
just
close.
misses. Yeah.
Is that a call? Yeah, it is.
All right, Chen getting the barrel out. Trying to get Mei deep again. Mei is deep. Let's see if they can do something with it. Snowball on the Cassia into the middle of the other team. Pizza taking a lot of damage. Mei will go down. Pizza gonna go down. Can they make something out of it? Cassie is still deep in the back line. Death Omen very low going down. Popped his trait there. He probably shouldn't have done that.
The Amani Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a feels bad moment when you're like, all right, I need more damage. Whoops, I just killed myself.
Cyan getting some big poke out on Jaren.
Yeah, so net result there, 3 for 1, ultimately losing to the Johanna, but that gives Psistorm the opportunity now to start their own channel. And there is a pretty lengthy amount of time to go, but it's short enough that they're going to get it. Banshee can't really do anything about it.
You'd like to see him invade on this camp here, but I don't think that they figured, you know, Banshee had the gall to take that camp out from under him. And in top lane, another big wave pushing in. That first one only took about 1/3 of the keep's health. But I understand wanting to place your focus on the objective. Johanna might be able to save it here. Pizza doing what he can.
It's gonna get saved, but it is really low. And that's, I mean, one keep is not enough to end the game in most cases. So it's not the end of the world for them. But what it does mean is that if Team Banshee is able to take down, like, if they get an objective and push down mid-fort, or I'm sorry, mid-keep, they can easily end the game then because they can just knock over top real fast. But the mid-objective pushing
going
super
ahead
hard.
and eliminating the threat. Yeah, but they eliminated the threat that was automatically on keep, which feels good for them. But they, I mean, they're way out-rotated now. Trying to come in from a flank. Mei catching Pizza, throwing him back at the fort. Of course, you would have wanted to catch anybody else. Unstoppable coming out. Johanna's going to walk out of there. Big ult coming out from Zul, doing a lot of damage. Poke coming from Chromie. Everybody about 2/3 HP. Big heal coming out from Stukov. They're going to abandon mid. They've already got top. Maybe they position for top boss, or maybe bot boss. See, you should position for bot boss because you know Banshee's got to come up and rotate to this to clear. which would leave you free for bot.
Essentially, they
Instead,
don't
it looks
have
like maybe they
super.
wanna bake top.
Yeah, they don't have super great clear for the boss, and neither team's level 20. But if Banshee tries to go in on this, that's yeah, okay. They were just keeping an eye out.
Well, they
haven't
wanted to
checked
bait
those
it, but
bushes.
it's positioned defensively. If they all just rotate away, they can just take it.
And that
Take it.
looks like what they're gonna do.
Yeah, take it. Go for it. There's the call.
And that was
Wow.
absolutely fantastic patience on the side of Psistorm. Could have used a little bit of dodging wrenches there for Psistorm on that boss shot, but looks like Banshee recognizing that. I thought they were recognizing they were probably on the top boss. They were going to maybe start this, but
And perhaps they made a mistake. Yeah. Which, I mean, all right, they get bot boss, but it looks like they're going to rotate down into it. They're not going to get there in time. I think the better call would just be to ride that boss all the way into keep, because you've got a fort in the way. Your bot lane looks healthy.
yeah, and I think when they were originally heading down, they were thinking, hey, we're 20, they're not. Let's see if we can get there before and try to make something happen out of it. I'm assuming that was the call, because you're right. I mean, riding this top boss through getting this keep, would have set them up really well. They've already gotten the mid keep down to about half. The wall's gone. The wall is all but gone in bot lane. And the next objective should be coming up probably in the next 60 seconds or so. We do have the upgraded barrel here for Chen too. Untapped potential. So increasing that movement speed, getting the armor bonus up. Gonna be real fun to watch that barrel fly around.
Banshee sees Chin in the bot lane. They're going to go ahead and push in. Looks like MBB going for the... Wow. They're going for the steal. I love that move by MBB. That was really brave. And I think it's going to work out. This is a 4v5. They should not be taken. Chin's here now. They did cap it. Wow, and they catch Zul'jin out. That barrel actually did zone him in. Silver Wasp about to go down. Perhaps he does. Zul getting crazy value. Got blinded, but man, he just 1v forward with Chromie support.
Yeah, and if you get the blinds and can hold him down, then he'll just die. But if he's able to cleave away, which is exactly what happened, he did get blinded for a couple seconds. But if he has that opportunity to just keep going, he will be able to tear your whole team apart.
Yeah, that was looking really dicey for Psistorm early on with the 4v5. But then they came, when Chin came in, they actually got the kill, and then it actually swung back in favor of Banshee for an even trade. That was pretty wild right there.
And I just noticed here, since Zul'jin was the first one to die so early there, he didn't get any of those stacks.
Unfortunate. Still at 1 on Headhunter.
Still at 1. Everybody's coming
So they
back
got
up.
some channel time. Yeah, I mean, if you consider the fact that lanes are all pushed up and they got, 25 seconds on objective, overall that exchange went in Psistorm's favor.
Oh yeah. And they even got their own camp out of it, which is back up coincidentally.
Now Banshee's pushing in, but this is going to be a straight 5v5.
And this team fight could be what determines the game, because both teams have a low keep and a path through other keeps. It would be a little bit harder for Banshee if they do pick it up, because the objective has so far to go.
Psistorm really just needs to delay. They have so much lane pressure in top and bottom.
Well, Stukov just
All right,
gets
I like the
thrown
chin.
away.
Yeah, this is a temporary 4v5. Big ult coming out from Zul might kill Cyan in the back line. MBB trying to find some deaths, but it's going to be Johanna that goes down first, having to pick a 1v4 while her back line's completely zoned. Silver Wasp so low. Going to get finished by Lucio. Lucio's just headhunting himself.
And they nearly
that's
had
rough.
they nearly had that Li Ming as well. She got a big heal coming from the Stukov, but in a way, I don't know if that might have been what ultimately locked down the rest of the team. If the heal that went to her didn't spread to everybody else and helped to counter the damage that Zool did with his Poison Nova. Did I lose you?
There is so much pressure in every lane. I wish that after you got that four-person kill, that you just ran right through top lane. Look how low that keep is. And I know you're not supposed to try and end with just one keep down on Alterac, but
yeah, I think they made the right call there. I think they should have killed the keep first and then come down here, just so that they had that Reaver spawn in the next wave. But they'll get it. That cavalry's coming in pretty soon. But Psistorm's going to have everybody up for this defense.
Yep.
But 2 keeps will be down. Maybe 3. Because they're rotating into the bot, saying that the cavalry can deal with that.
they're not wrong. Looks like Chen's actually splitting off, maybe? No, he's turning back around. Yeah, I mean, if you can pick the fight out here at Keep, I think that's better for you if you're Psistorm.
Yeah, and they have the Chen with the barrel, so I mean, he can really isolate the team if he can.
It's going down quick though.
Yeah. Of course, dealing with that top
you've already
objective.
got one cavalry in on north.
Core's already at half health. They need to just push this and win the game right
There's
here.
the Lucio ult. They're pushing in. Yeah. Here comes the damage. That's going to be all it takes.
Chen is doing what he can with the barrel. The core is falling quickly.
Yeah. You needed to, you had to try and take that fight out at Keep while you had the chance, but you had the cavalry pushing in. That's just a rough spot to be in.
Yeah, that was a difficult game at the end there for Psistorm, but they played it really well. I mean, they had a lot of advantages through the game. They really didn't lose. They traded in almost every scenario, whether it was the early boss against the cavalry, whether it was the 3 versus 3, 3 kills to 3 kills there, and they at that last objective. I mean, they played this really well, and it ultimately just came down to that last team fight, as so many of these games do. And in this case, it was Team Banshee that was able to succeed in that last team fight.
Yep.
So GG to them.
Yeah, Zool, I guess with that level 20 talent, just I mean, it just dealt so much poison damage onto the Ming and the Cassia and the Stukov in that late game fight that they all had to kind of back off, and it left Johanna alone up front just because they were zoned from the poison damage. Stukov trying desperately to get him healed up, and once their front line fell, I mean, it was just, that was all she wrote.
Yeah, it turns out that level 20 upgrade to Poison Nova, which heals Zool but increases the duration of Poison Nova by 50%, is monstrous to low health heroes like the Li Ming. And Li Ming wasn't even glass cannon.
Yeah. No, she had a full poison bar of HP, and she was sitting at about 60% HP.
All right, let's see.
Stukov did end up having enough heals, though.
Yeah, I mean, stats-wise, let's go back to the stats there. Stukov had 72k, Lucio had 115k, and I think that's just a testament to the type of damage that was coming in and where it was going, right? I mean, you had Zool's Poison Novas, that Stukov was able to heal up at least, a couple of times there. But like Zul'jin's pretty single target focused. Chromie, for the most part, a lot of her bombs are going to be single target, just because, Psistorm's not really close together. So Stukov's healing is going to be done a little bit differently than Lucio's, who's taking damage from, everybody's taking damage from Li Ming. Cassia does a lot of, poke, maybe spreading that a lot with the charge strikes. Heck, even Johanna, right, with the condemn and subdue and roar, which I'm assuming she took. She did not take roar. She took the Holy Fury. All right, so we're gonna do an interview. So let's hop over into the NGS lobby.
All right.
And I will meet you there. Fancy meeting you here.
How could it be? What are the odds?
I will be joined here shortly by MBB.
Okay.
Maybe not MBB. It'll be it'll be most of the team. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Is anybody else coming before we start talking? Darren?
Oh, what's up?
I saw your mic was open, so is anybody else coming? Is it you three?
Yeah, I think it's just 2.
It's back in the background there, so.
All right. So welcome, guys. So we've got Death Omen, we've got Jaren, and we've got Lunatic here from Team Banshee. So welcome. Congratulations on your victory. I mean, that's got to be exciting, and especially, I mean, this is your guys' first cast this season, am I right?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So it's got to be exciting to pull out a 2-0 victory on your first cast. So how's the team feeling after really quite a back and forth matchup that you guys pulled a victory out of?
Shaking. Physically shaking.
Now, a little shaky. For
No
sure.
one was engaging in the beginning. It was just a back and forth. I was like, oh my god, like, let's do something, but I don't know, it was just more nerve-wracking.
Our first game, we felt very confident, but our second game, we were like, oh my gosh, they're not even fighting us. Like, we can't even get in there. Like, as you can tell, I was playing Zool and Zool Jin, and I couldn't get any stacks whatsoever.
I'm not going to say that we didn't, you know, that we pointed that out once or twice in the cast. And then your best opportunity to get stacks, that last fight over the siege camp, you died first, so you didn't even get the stacks.
Exactly. I was so pissed.
Well, listen, you guys played that well. Let's start off with game number 1. It was Battlefield of Eternity. If I remember correctly, that was your guys' map pick. And you had, I want to talk about a play that they really, it was like top tier, holy crap level of play. And then we'll go into more stuff about that. Who was the Li Ming player in that game?
Oh, that was me. You're
So,
wrong.
what, like, how quickly did you poop your pants when suddenly Diablo came over the wall after you threw that out? Like, how was the team comms at that point?
We were freaking out, and I'm glad, like, when they went back in to kind of push them off the mortal, they didn't die. But yeah, at first we were all just like, oh fuck, like they knew I was gonna be there. I thought I should reposition myself, but I was like, oh, I'm safe behind the wall, and I forgot about Diablo's fucking level 20 talent. Sorry about cursing, but yeah, it scared the hell out of me. I thought they were gonna come back right there.
I mean, it was a really strong play. They got 2 kills out of it, and then you guys are able to delay that immortal for long enough that your heroes come back, you then get some kills, and then win the game out of it. So what did your team do at that point after knowing that you're dead and somebody else died? Like, what was the team's focus, and what were you talking about to make sure that you kept your head in the game, so to speak?
We're trying to get me, Vala, in on the south side, trying to get them distracted with the rest of the team so I can still kind of poke damage and still have a presence there. So they're still kind of focused on us, and they can only have one other person doing damage to the other immortal, if possible.
Sure. And you guys banned out the Diva in the first game. They banned out Diva in the second game. It was kind of interesting to me to see Diva banned by the first pick team both times. Which is, yeah, that's right. You guys had first pick, not map pick for BOE, was I thinking. Was there any specific reason you guys banned her out first?
We just saw that they played Diva every once in a while, and so we just thought it would be a hero that they want to bring into the game.
Gotcha.
First pick, I mean, I guess they figured we were going to play him because we were going to try and play her first game. I mean, the second game too, when we had first pick, but yeah.
Gotcha. Mudge, any questions or anything you want to talk about from game number 1?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, y'all did a really good job of clogging up the front line when you had so much damage in the back. There were fights where they would get, forgive me, were any of you playing Rhaegar?
Zaggy was.
Yep, that would be Zaggy.
So
Shout out
Zaggy's
to
not
Zaggy
here.
then, because Zaggy got engaged on so many times. He bore the brunt of the Diablo Imperius and managed to squeak his way out of there over and over. And when they couldn't get that pick, your team just rolled him from there. So I think that made a big
we're
difference.
really thankful for our healer. That Zaggy is our official healer.
Awesome. So
That's all. I think y'all played well.
cool. So game number 2, Alterac Pass. This one was your guys' selection, right? Because they took first pick. And we go to like 11 or 12 levels before anybody decides to even look at the camp. You know, there was one point where they kind of tried to set up a bush gank on you guys briefly there, but ultimately that was the extent of it. And then they head off to bottom boss, and then you guys move in. So the first question I have is, did you know that they were at the boss? Or was it just kind of coincidental time? You're like, hey, let's go ahead and get in on this now since we don't see them. And the second is, did you kind of go into it with the idea that that's how this would go? Or did that evolve because they were, like you said earlier, just avoiding you so much?
Definitely evolved because of what they were doing. I mean, we weren't planning on taking the boss at all. We saw that they rushed it the first time, so we're like, all right, we have to take this. And then the second time, we just figured they were trying to get it, so we just raced. But we figured they were actually at the bottom boss, and then not seeing them there, we knew they were at the top. So we just tried to take it as fast as we could.
It was really
That was an interesting moment.
Yeah. The
Because
pre-20.
They were set up in 2 other bushes.
Yeah.
And since they were set up in 2 other bushes, I thought they wanted to gank you guys there. But they weren't set up in the aggressive bush. So y'all only checked the aggressive bush and didn't check in either of the defensive bushes, but they weren't in a position where they could jump y'all. I think they were hoping you were going to take the boss. It was a high tension moment.
Yeah, we definitely didn't want to take a boss in the moment if we didn't see them. We were kind of expecting a bait, and then we thought at that moment that they were going to be at the bottom boss, so we wanted to check that, and then we saw vision up top, and that's when we made our decision, well, that boss is done, let's try to melt this boss so we can get a little bit ahead of the game, I guess you could say.
Makes sense. So in that last team fight over the prison camp for their side, so not, I guess technically not the very last one, which is the core, but just prior to that, really Zool getting some monster Poison Nova damage, and like all of Li Ming's health bar is just straight up gone, even with Stukov's healing. Was there anything like that you guys were looking for? Again, what kind of comms do you guys have when you're going into this fight, knowing that you're on their side of this, knowing that, you know, not that long ago you had an offensive engage that did not go great. I mean, it was even, but it didn't go probably as expected. So was there anything that you said coming into this engagement to put your focus where it needed to be so that you could make that happen?
I gotta say, just hammer down the backside, because we kept on getting pulled in by the Joe, and the Joe is doing really good with the peels. I know Lunatic was the Zool, I believe. If he's there.
Yeah, I'm here. That was me.
Yeah, I mean, Lunatic with that Poison Nova was absolutely clutch. I mean, it hit, I think, just about everybody, if not everybody. And with that level 20 upgrade being the 50% additional duration, just absolutely devastated the team. Even with a Stukov, just devastated the team.
I guess to answer the question officially, it was just a balls deep moment.
We really wanted to push.
It was just go. Like, just go.
It was just straight up.
That's all game. And we're like, okay, just go. Let's see if we can end. Possibly. We weren't actually expecting to end at the second game there, at that moment.
They got enough push though out of it. I think they were reeling pretty hard.
We thought they actually cleared top, and so we were retreating and just gonna regroup, and then we realized that their boss, well, their core was half down. We're like, go, everyone, just freaking go!
Yeah, there wasn't much left on that keep.
Yeah, Mudge and I were talking about that because you guys had kind of pulled back, and we're both going, I mean, the core's falling very quickly. They have no keep. This is an opportunity. And then, like you said, we see you come back in, and we're like, I don't think there's any. You could see Chen was trying, and they really tried to disrupt what you had going on, but they just couldn't. And the Chromie bombs. I mean, Jaren, I think you were playing Chromie. Like the amount of damage potential you guys had, and there was one play in this was on the bottom prison camp. That you guys executed perfectly. Didn't get the kill, but it looked really clutch with Azul Root, followed up by the Ensnare, followed up by the Chromie time or Slowing Sands, and Chen like taking a bunch of damage, right? I mean, he doesn't die, but the coordination and the timing to make that all work is really good to see when, quite frankly, neither team has a lot of CC. So you really had to layer that to make it effective. So that was halfway through. It was nice to see how you guys made that work, and ultimately, in the long run, you win the game, and you guys get 3 points.
It feels good.
Feels great.
So you guys have a match here in 2 days again. I think Crushinator's casting that one on Wednesday. How anything that you guys have planned for your next match here coming up? And not strategy wise, but like, is there anything that you can tell us about? Are you familiar with the team that you're playing against? I'm trying to pull it up right now, but looks like one more fight.
We usually have a couple days before we go over their bands and try to pick combos beforehand. So we're gonna look to practice a couple wombo combos before. Yeah, we're going to check them out, see what we can ban and what they play a lot.
It's actually one of our practice days, actually today, 2 days. So we're actually going to talk about that after this interview here.
Gotcha. Mudge, any other questions you've got for Team Banshee here?
I suppose the only thing I would say is that was a really aggressive and cool move on their camp before that last objective, the snowball avalanche going in. Nearly Chin arrived just in time to kind of make something out of it, and it looked like it was going to be a full-on win for Psistorm there, but Death and Jaren, y'all kept fighting up in that top area with Zul just cleaving away and Chromie dropping bombs, and y'all managed to make that a 3-for-3. And I just got to give you credit for not breaking and running and making that exchange something that wasn't a total loss for your team. It really could have been a swing moment if you guys had all ran and gotten popped down as you were trying to retreat.
Yeah, Zul was definitely MVP in that moment, holding him to there.
Yeah, we almost had one more there. If I did just a little bit more, but
it was close, and if you got that one more, that game goes a little bit earlier in your favor, I think. But it worked out. You guys got a 2-0 victory on your first cast, and hey, you know what? If your first cast works out and your second cast coming up gets you more confidence, and now your second game, maybe you don't have those same level of jitters. Obviously, it wasn't the cast that did that, but having that big screen, and now you can go back and watch it and have a good time with it.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
So awesome. Okay, so last things last here. Any shout outs you guys have?
I want to thank our coach, Trixie, Big Mama Coach. Appreciate you. She's gonna be laughing. That's why I said it.
Right on. Anybody else?
Shout out for my girlfriend for letting me play tonight.
There you have it. Gotta keep that happy. I understand that.
GG's all around. Other team, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
Right on, guys. Lunatic, anybody you want to shout out real quick?
Nah, I just thank everybody on my team. Thank the opposing team for giving us the opportunity to play them. It was fun. They gave us a good
Thanks for
fight.
casting us, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us here. It was a great match to cast. I really enjoy these matches where there's like a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of tension. And I think that both of those games had a lot of those moments. So definitely some things to clip. Make sure you do that when you come back and rewatch this. Clip some of those highlight moments and send them in for the the weekly highlights. Put them in the highlights channel there in NGS. But good luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Peace out, y'all.
See ya.
Deuces.
Alrighty, let's get Mudge back in here.
Heyo.
All right, so we got Mudge back. So Mudge, that is it for us. I was going to... Oh, we're not using webcam, that's right. Put Mudge back on the screen there. So I was going to say we could raid over to Jazzy as she's got a cast here, but it's too early for that. She's not casting until 11 o'clock, so I guess I'll just...
Shame.
Yeah, just let everybody know that if you're interested in that cast, it's coming up at 11 o'clock, and it is I think it's a heroic. Let's see. Nope, it's A West. It's Fox and his carries versus Fancy Flightless Fowl. And I don't envy Jazzy in trying to deal with that alliteration tonight.
I'm sure she'll do fine. She's experienced.
Yeah. All right, so Mudge, anything you want to say to Twitch chat before we release them to the wild?
Just do your best. I know the tall grass, there's a lot of things that trump through it, but you come across any poking trainers, just avoid getting caught. Enjoy the wild.
Some very wise words out of our friend Mudge of Regen Phoenix. Appreciate you joining me here tonight, Mudge, and everybody that came to watch the show. Hope you have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again soon. My next cast will actually be on Wednesday. It's going to be between Deckard's Erudition and Regen Ghost, and I believe that's at 9 o'clock. Make sure you tune in to that. But otherwise, good luck with your own seasons, and we'll see you again soon.